thing about making good art is you have to not be afraid.
There's no place in this world where I'll belong when I'm gone, and I won't know the right from the wrong when I'm gone, and you won't find me singing on this song when I'm gone, so I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here, and I won't feel the flowing of the time when I'm gone, and all the pleasures of love will not be mine when I'm gone. My pen won't pour a lyric line when I'm gone, so I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here.
This is a new synthetic kind of sponge. The old sponges were real. They're called elephant ear, but they've been hunted to extinction.
Like that one?
It looks kind of like this, but this is very firm. You can feel how hard that is. The real elephant ear sponge is very pliable.
Is that one also synthetic?
No, this one's a one that grew, but it's more of a common sponge than the elephant ear. And then these synthetic ones, when they get wet, they do a good job of approximating the elephant ear in their softness and their response. So it's okay. I wouldn't call it great. This is one of the old kick wheels. It was designed by my godfather from Technical Designs of Marguerite. So this would be called wedging, and from the old masters they say wedging it this way. Of course they didn't use the wire tool in their days. What they did was to shove their thumbs down through it, but it produced a lot of degradation in the joints, and so even Wildenheim eventually said, don't keep screwing with your body when you could do something so easy as use a tool. But you turn, so it's a half turn, and then you turn your piece again, and you continue turning, cutting, turning, cutting, until your clay is all one consistency. And from lore, I've heard that if you do this 50 times in this particular pattern, you've cut through the clay more than 1,000,000 times each centimeter of clay.
Oh.
Hi, Grandma.
Hey, photography. I have a little plan in my mind.
Yeah?
I thought maybe tonight for supper I would get pizza of both kinds, and we could set it separate, and I'd call Gunner because I haven't seen Julia in
An age.
yeah, and we could set it separate tables outside, and we could have a meal together.
Sounds very nice.
Okay.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, at last.
So then we start kneading, and it's a lot like bread kneading, except in bread you're trying to get air in to the loaf. In this process, we're trying to get air to come out, and you can see as we work through that little pieces of air are coming out. What you do is compress and bring that around. What you end up with after about 50 or so strokes is hopefully no air.
Okay.
Which I think there's a little air there, but I got pretty close. All right. This particular clay and how hard I throw with it seems to have a hard time sticking down. Normally you could just throw the piece of clay on there and good to go. But I found this particular clay body to be a little cantankerous on sticking. Slip is just basically a concentration of oxides that are held in suspension by a clay body that's in a slurry. And depending on what kind of colors you want, this one happens to be cobalt. And the clay body is our brown clay.
And you mixed that cobalt slip yourself?
Yeah, that's one that we make ourselves. The general idea is to bring the clay body into center by forcing it and coercing it slowly to the way of your thinking. Which you have to be ready for clay to do its own thing. Sometimes I can get away with just centering the top. Sometimes I have to go all the way and center the whole thing. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, that's way off. We'll pretend for a short while. One thing that's not very commonly known is the chamois cloth. I guess it's kind of a leather stuff, but I suppose there's a synthetic version too. But it's very floppy and gentle. Very useful in making a very fine edge, and especially if it's such a fine, tiny little piece, you need to be very astute. Having a very thick slip, really helpful at this point. It's really important to keep your tools moist. You don't want them snagging on anything. The most harmful thing to do at this point is to have your tool catch your clay. Give it a little foot, otherwise it'll fall over, sitting on any shelf. And it's kind of about that.
And I won't breathe the bracing air when I'm gone. And I can't even worry about my cares when I'm
Here you go, Gunner.
And I won't be
Got
asked
one?
to go
Anybody else need
when I'm gone.
one of these?
Okay, ready?
What? What are you gonna interview me
So just say who you are and tell me a little bit about yourself.
about? Do you know who I am?
This is for my movie.
I am your cousin, and I am the coolest.
You are the coolest. Tell me some of your hobbies.
Ballet.
Tell me about that. Why do you like ballet?
This is fun. Whoa, socialist.
Tell me about your grandparents on the Schwartz side.
I don't know.
You don't have anything to say about them?
They're pretty cool.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
What would you do if you woke up and L. Ron Hubbard was president?
I am the middle child of 3. born of Lane Schwartz and Amy Chickus.
We're all gonna die. Doesn't even matter.
I-
Alan Hubbard could be anything.
I love to sing, I love to dance, I love the arts, I love nature, and just living life.
Let me help. Maybe this will help with your. Here, duck, 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 ducky, ducky, ducky. Check it out. Check it out.
Aw.
Well, like, for me, it was just like, you know, everybody eats food. And, like, but not a lot of people are like connected with like actually growing food.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, there's just like a difference. I feel like it makes me to like know, like, you know, yeah, if you eat meat, for example, or like eat eggs or vegetables or whatever it is, it's like that all takes effort. And I don't know, it's something that like I hold as a value, is just like knowing where my food comes from, and it's just a great experience overall.
I mean, we had chickens when we were growing up, but we never ate them for meat or anything. We just ate eggs. But like, I really enjoyed keeping animals and keeping specifically poultry, and kind of going along with what you were saying about like knowing where your food comes from. I feel like I really identify with the process of procuring your own food. It's kind of like if you go hunting, you're more satisfied with the meat that you're eating because you procured it yourself. Just go down to the store and buy a part of a cow. Where does that come from? How did that part get there? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like I feel like it would be better for everybody if they knew more where their food comes from.
Maggie, will you buy me some coconut oil, please?
My name's Sophie. I'm a Schwartz. I'm really passionate about dance. I'm really passionate about moving, hiking, being in nature. I'm going to Luther College next year, maybe, depending on this whole Corona situation. And my plans for the future, I want this place to be something different than it is now. I want it to be a community for people. I want to grow this family. I want to have a big old family here, and I want to have a farm, and I want to be a chiropractor or a psychologist.
What does it mean to you being part of the Schwartz clan?
I feel extremely privileged. Yeah, they might run away from you, but they won't attack you.
You can get really close to them.
They are pretty nice. And if you yell really loud, they gobble. Go, go, go! Gobble, gobble, gobble! I'm still figuring out. I've tried art many times, and I love it, but it's difficult for me because of such a high amount of pressure, almost, to succeed or to be I'm a Schwartz, you know? But I do feel extremely privileged because I have the opportunity to see all these amazing pieces of artwork and to have the opportunity to be with my grandfather and my uncle and my aunts and my dad and my siblings, and to be able to make art together and learn from everyone in my family. And it just feels really good to be here, and I'm glad that we're here.
I love to paint. I like to use bits of neo-expressionism and like surrealism, but in a sense where it's like super like simple and blotchy. Yeah, I'm very passionate about art.
How do you feel about coming into this legacy of work and art and stuff?
There's pressure. in a sense where everyone seems so accomplished, especially your grandfather. And I feel like I can't. Part of me is just like I'm never gonna be able to live up to that man's success, which is probably true.
I'm not shaking my head yes, as in
I turn over and you're like,
I'm saying I understand the pressure.
yeah, it's a lot more like open to like other people and
Whoa.
the way things are done. I feel more aware as a person, and I love it a lot. I love being here.
That one made it. I don't know. Pretty crappy.
A little while ago, and they were passing a piece down, 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 and into the track. So it went through 4 hands and then into the yellow bucket. It was amazing, just sending it.
This one you might be able to see. There's kind of a house back there and another house there. There's some better so you can see them by that. And here's one of the house that Jerry growed up in between the next to. This is the farm there. And then I was interested in that, so what I did, I turned it up, and this is an all. Can you see this guy that's big horns? Buffalo. And they're all around, running around there. So these things grow up out of that, the barn there, for instance. So have fun with those things like that.
So, first question for Dean. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm an old crock.
I knew that would be what he'd say. I just could have predicted it.
Grandma,
Yes,
will you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm a farm girl, and went to Iowa schools and went to Iowa colleges and taught in Iowa. I'm a farm girl.
Jerry?
This is by Art Reynolds. That's Jerry. And this one here.
You haven't aged a day.
I guess I'll have to do it while I'm here.
You have such a magical voice, Maggie.
Oh, thank you.
You should really,
Do more music.
you should do more. What's your name?
My name is Maggie.
And what are you holding in your hand?
Dalton's guitar.
What does music mean to you?
Well, I used to write a lot of songs, and then now I don't anymore. I don't know. I haven't really sat down to play music in a long time, but I really like playing music. I feel like I should do it more. I just don't. The second dream was about a bobcat, and it was out here, and the bobcat was chasing me around, but I don't know if I was me or if I was something else. And it chased me into the pines.
All I remember is I was in this river and I was floating on something down the river, and I kept trying to get out of the river, and then along the bank was William would run up to the bank and be like, Sophie, here, let me help you. You can come up this way.
we need you for this. Come on, get out, get off the river.
Yeah.
And it was just like very strange, and I don't remember anything else from it, but I know there was more.
So tell me what you guys are working on here today.
We are decorating some of the minis that our dad threw a couple days ago. We've been doing this for a couple years now. Our dad creates the minis, and we, as a family, decorate them and take them to shows and sell them. It's really fun.
But it's not just about like going to shows.
I need the dark.
I'm gonna use the dark green. I feel like it's more, at least to me, it's more about like doing something as a family and not just like taking our artwork to shows and like making money on it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. We started doing this maybe 5 years ago.
4 or 5.
At least decorating. I don't know if we like started going to shows until like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, decorations can be as easy as doing just simple dots, or it can be the dream we had last night, or
telling a story,
you know, of something that was happening in real life. Whoa, you're okay?
My pizza!
Does that look done? Oh yeah, that's done.
Come on, baby.
Oh yeah. Woo, can I have a piece?
No.
Last night, but
Or the other night, whatever.
the shape of them was like ginger leaves, but they weren't ginger leaves. They were these big pink things.
Like closer.
It's close.
There's different techniques that you can use to decorate. Like you can either put glaze right on top, and this is the underglaze, it's like the color, or you can not do any underglaze at all, and it would just be like the color of the second fire glaze. Something like a technique that's been used in like the Bauhaus and in our family specifically has been like using the knife to create designs, usually geometric patterns and sort of minimalist renderings of images on pottery. So I'm gonna try to do some of that.
The thing about making good art is you have to not be afraid.
Could you extrapolate on that?
Well, there really isn't such thing as good art or bad art, but when I say good art, I mean art that feels good to you.